Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Rethink Live session today. I'm looking forward to our session with our Rethink Council members. We've got 7 of them here to share their great and helpful ideas on helping you build a brand. So if you're looking to stand out in a crowd, we're going to be talking about personal branding, about authenticity, and about doing your best to get over the cringe. Our host today is Vic Quiros, our broker advisor for Rethink from the Los Angeles office of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices California Properties. And Vic will be introducing the rest of the team as we move forward. Vic, take it away. We've only got an hour, lots to talk about.
Only an hour, and we have lots to cover. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on this Rethink Live event. We have 7 spectacular agents from around the country. And, we want to take a little bit of time to introduce themselves as we get into the topics. We'll also be posting their social media handles in the chat so you guys can follow up and ask them questions. And of course, give them a follow and see what they got going on. So maybe you can R&D that. If you don't know what R&D is, rip off and duplicate. That's why we're here, to share ideas to help you grow as a real estate professional, and of course, help the network grow as well. So thanks for joining us. Today, our topic is about building a brand that breaks through. Now, there is a difference between branding and marketing, so we want to be clear on that. And in real estate, you got to make sure that you're building your brand for the long term. Big picture thinking here, okay? So we're talking about marketing. We have 7 spectacular Rethink Council members here. And what we want to start with is how to get started in building your brand. And we're going to progress from there throughout the mastermind conversation. And that's what we're going to do today for the next hour or so. That said, I'd like to start it off. Maybe we can have our friend from Virginia, Olivia, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them who you are and tell us how you got started in building your brand in real estate.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vic. I'm here in Williamsburg, Virginia, but I cover from Virginia Beach up to Richmond and what we call the Northern Neck. It's very coastal, a lot of waterfront properties here. And I'm with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, RW Town Realty. And I actually had a full career in New York City before I became a realtor, and I was specializing in marketing and partnerships. And through that, I really helped a lot of brands define who they were and then throw events from, what you're trying to get across with their branding. And I took that kind of strategy, and that's what I've gone taken my personal brand in real estate towards. And the things that you really want to do to start your brand, you need to figure out who are you? What is your brand? What do you stand for? So when I think Olivia Sire real estate, I want to be ethical. I want to know the contracts. I want to be known as an excellent negotiator. And you can even use things like ChatGPT to help you define who you are. But what I try to tell people is when you are figuring out what you're going to be in real estate, define your elevator pitch. You should be able to walk into anyone, meet them for 30 seconds and tell them what you bring to the table as a realtor. And do the work from that first, and you can build everything else, your branding, your profiles, your social media from that brand that you built. And so, all of my colors, all of my guidelines are the same. They're consistent across all socials. They're consistent across every single listing appointment I go to. You can even see some back here. They all look very similar, but still are able to showcase the houses in different ways. So if you know who you are and what you bring to the table, that's when you can really get creative and actually help your clients in the best way possible.
I like that, Olivia. Making sure everything is uniform. So same bio, same photo, same branding logos, all that good stuff helps you out, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's good SEO. You want to be searchable. You want to be able to have that consistency because that's how you grow. That's how you build.
That makes a lot of sense. And you had that background with New York City marketing. That probably helped you out a lot. But I want to jump over to the San Francisco Bay Area. Let's talk to our friend Asia. Asia, how you doing today?
Hi everyone, I'm doing well.
You, my friend, came from a different background, not from marketing. Why don't you tell the group about your background and then how you got started building your brand as a real estate professional?
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to being a real estate agent, I was a special education teacher. I taught for San Francisco Unified School District, and being a teacher was a huge part of my identity, and it remains a big part of my story. So just like Olivia was mentioning, her background in marketing, I think, we're not unique in being real estate agents who had a previous career to our career in real estate. So drawing upon the skills that you have from those previous careers can really serve you well. So as an educator, being able to educate first-time home buyers and create content that's geared toward that. When I was starting out, I created a content series called Fun Real Estate Fact Friday. And in my market, or in my social sphere, there are a lot of soon-to-be first-time home buyers. So I targeted that audience and created videos like what's a 2-1 rate buy down? How do inspections work? What's a contingency? And so knowing your audience and what's going to be relevant for them and then drawing upon your skills is a great way to go.
Asia, are these long form videos or are these made for 60 seconds or less on Instagram or Facebook when you do the Fun Fact Fridays?
Short form videos, I feel that's what's going to get the most engagement. So when you're posting on an Instagram reel or a TikTok video or a Facebook reel, I'd say a minute to, 2 minutes is the sweet spot in that range to have the
Hmm,
most engagement.
I get that. Now, Fun Fact Friday is one thing. You also talked about doing property tour videos, right? Is that something that you recommend for a lot of new agents just getting started with video? Because you don't have to be on camera for that, right?
Absolutely. So you don't need your own listings to create great real estate content. Many agents are eager to have extra eyes on their listings. So when you're a new agent, I encourage you, don't be shy. Reach out to other agents in your network and ask if you can feature their listings on property tour videos. Property tour videos, in my experience, do really well in terms of engagement because they're visually interesting, they're easy to narrate, and just, personally, they can help you build an understanding of the inventory in your marketplace. So when I was posting a lot of property tours when I was starting out, friends would reach out and say, "Oh my God, I love all the homes you're posting. It looks like you're so busy." So it was a great way to stay top of mind to my sphere, and have them think of me when they think of, needing a real estate agent in the future.
Asia, when you were a new agent, I'm certain those listings you were posting, the property tours, those weren't all your listings, right? You were going to other agents' properties and showcasing those.
Yeah, not by any means. Like one of my best performing videos was a junior 1 bedroom in San Francisco. It was listed at a really great price. I was going to show it to a client and got there early, decided to make a property tour video after getting the agent's permission to post. And I got over 200,000 views on that video because
Wow.
there was a lot of debate around Bay Area affordability in my comment section. So I think it's a great way to just get out there. And even if they don't go viral, again, you're staying top of mind for your sphere. And everybody likes to look at beautiful homes.
I love that. It's a really good idea for newer agents. Fun Fact Fridays, property tours. Thanks for that, Asia. I want to jump back to the East Coast and talk to my friend Max from the Poconos. And you talk a little bit about being fearful of creating your brand on videos, right? Talk to us a little bit about that, Max. What helped you get over the hump there and jump into video more often?
Well, so I mean, Jimmy Burgess, like all these big names were telling me like, you got to get into video, you got to get into video. But I was scared. And I mean, I'm still scared right this moment. I'm terrified to be on live. But to be honest, it's uncomfortable and I'm scared, but you got to do it anyway. And when I first started, I tried with my cell phone, then I tried hiring a videographer, and I did black and white to be different and edgy. And I look back at those videos and I cringe. And I still cringe at my videos. I don't like hearing me, the way I sound, the way I look. I just don't like that.
We
But
love it, Max. We love the way
thanks,
you sound
Bridget.
and look.
um, but I mean, I just do it. I finally found a videographer that like gets me, and it was a lot of trial and error, and now I can just talk to him, and what I found, and I got this from Jake Garay, is like, instead of like creating, record or report it, right? So like if I can just talk like I am normally and I can capture that on video, it sounds more like me. It's what I'm actually into. And that helped me out a ton. Just get into video for sure.
And Max, there's your three C's you like to talk about a little bit, right? Well, what are the three C's for you to help you stay? And I'm not going to say the three C's, right? But what are the three C's that help you stay focused on what you got to do to build your brand and stay top of mind?
So it's pretty much what everybody's been talking about here and what everybody's going to be talking about. I have my notes because I'm nervous. I have it's clarity, consistency, and then I put compelling connection, right? So like clarity is like, what's your brand's promise? One sentence. So like if you look at Apple, theirs is think different. BMW is the ultimate driving machine, right? So what is that for us? One of my favorites is Alan Dalton's classic marketing Pocono real estate at the highest level. And this is evolving, like, so play around with it, have fun. And so mine are, I have three that are forever agents for forever clients, relationships over transactions, and call as a client, close with a friend. I just think I believe in that, and I can back that up through our forever agent planning guides and everything Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices gives us through the lifestyle planning guide. So that's clarity. Consistency is just posting the same profile photo, everything on every social platform I can. It should feel the same, look the same tone, same message, and same energy. And then the most important is the compelling connection, right? Like, people are going to buy real estate no matter what because of all these lifestyle things. But they need to connect with me. They need to connect with you. So it's emotional being in a real estate transaction, but it's also emotional being a realtor. So like showing that true, side of it, right? Like getting choked up with the daughter in the room doing the walkthrough, or, I'm a softie. Like I feel people, and I'm emotional. Like, so like be 100,000,000% you. And it's more attraction rather than promotion. And that's what's going to build relationships. And my brand is going to win every time if I do that. So those are my three C's.
Well, Max, we love the way you sound. We're okay with the way you look. It's just, for people out there on the audience, your friends and your family know what you look like. They know what you sound like. And guess what? They're okay with it.
Yeah.
You are too, right? Now, Max, you talked about the Forever Agent platform and the Forever Agent lifestyle planning guide. And for those people watching right now in this video, you can jump into Resource Center, go into Marketing Resource, take a look at the special Forever Agent platform. And there's so many materials you could utilize, because one of the great things about this business is we're always thinking big picture. And your client, as Maxwell says, they come as a client, they leave as a friend. I love that saying. It's really cool, man. But I'm so glad you got over the hump and you're putting these videos out. I love seeing your stuff, dude. So awesome.
Thanks, guys.
I want to jump over to the Southwest region right now. I know she's burning up. She has 3 ACs working today. Bridget Baldwin. How you doing today, Bridget?
I am good. I'm hanging in there.
Always nice to see you. Now, one of the things we talked about was you being a little bit worrisome about getting into video. And for some people who are following you right now, they probably didn't know that you had a little bit of a challenge, personal challenge, jumping in. So why don't you tell them how you got started and where you grew to where you are today?
Yeah. So I did kind of get in my own way. Like Maxwell said, all the greats were telling everybody, everywhere you went, to get into videos, start doing video. I listened to that for 2 years. I didn't do anything. So honestly, when I'm really thinking about my inception, it was posting on my stories. So I'm talking about Instagram, but if you're nervous about producing content and having it live on your, hard post it on your feed, like just start with a story it lasts 24 hours and then it's gone forever. If it does really well, you can turn it into a reel. But I kind of when I was posting my stories consistently, little things that would happen at a listing appointment or things I would see at a showing, I started to understand who was following me, what interested them, the replies that I would get. And I kind of, you know, got out of my own way in terms of just being on camera. It lasted 24 hours, right? And then I did a really highly produced video at a luxury listing. I brought in a chef. I had, you know, the whole drone thing and everything. It took forever. It was my labor of love, and it went out and it did really well on YouTube. And I felt that pain of how hard it is to produce that content. And I was like, yeah, I don't have time for that. You know, like I have to do my actual job, right? So then, you know, I just was sort of calling it in, but I was connected with a videographer that was looking to get into real estate through someone in my network. And he offered a, you know, 5-pack of talking head videos for free. So talking head videos are basically straight to the camera, captions popping up, 30 to 60 seconds on something. So I thought, okay, it's free. I'll do it. We'll see how it goes. So I focused on educational content. I basically had a few notes in my notes app about questions that would come up often with clients or issues that would come up with, you know, in transactions or things that I just wish I could stand on the corner with a cardboard sign and like tell everybody and what they needed to know about real estate, you know? And so I started just with educational pieces. I felt confident about it. I've been selling real estate for 15 years at the time, almost 15 years. I had a lot of stories. So I was able to just pull from my experience and say, hey, you know, something to watch out for. Or, hey, sellers, take personal photos off the wall before you list your, I mean, very 101 stuff to us, but for a brand new home seller, that's like, oh, well, this is our house. Why would I take my pictures down? So just educational, easy, straight to camera. The videographer then sent it to their editing team, which is a VA. They put the captions on it and then I would post it. And I started doing those really consistently until I was sick of looking at myself and hearing myself talk. And, you know, I got into that rut, Maxwell, where you're just like, don't look at me. So from there, I started to bring my creative side into it and would do listing specific videos for, you know, the listings that I would have coming to market. And the creative process for me is ongoing. It's very important to have brainstorming sessions to map out the content, because I batch record with the videographer for, you know, 5 hours. We'll do 10 videos in 5 hours or however long it takes. So you do need the brainstorming session, but I'm constantly creating. I'll be driving and I'll be in a drive-through and I'll be like, oh, that would be funny. In my notes app, I write the idea and I put the word video somewhere. That way, when I'm going to my brainstorm session, I just search video in my notes app and all of those notes come up. And then we just script it out or bullet point it. So I just encourage people to, even if you don't know a videographer, you don't have any idea of what your brand is, when those ideas come in or you see the inspiration, R&D, make a little note in your app, put video there because you're going to need it when you're ready.
Yeah. I like that. So you're treating the creative process like any other artist would. An idea comes to your head, something funny, something you think that might really hit and connect. You take some notes down, you bring it to your creative team, and you figure a way to shoot it, right? But I love that you're doing batch videos, because some people think, you know, that they're shooting these videos every other day. No, you're taking the time out of your calendar, you're setting everything up, it's planned, you shoot
And
it
more
all, and
cost effective too.
that's right. And then how are you releasing these videos once you batch them up and record them all in one day?
So I was doing with him 12 short form videos a month and 4 long form for YouTube, because I'm building my YouTube channel as well. So that averaged out to about 2 to 3 a week that I would post. And I would just sort of, you know, I didn't try to time the market on social media. I just would put it out when I had the time. And you see the metrics go up and down depending on the day, but it doesn't matter. You're just building that page so that when someone goes and they meet you in person, they can go online and they can get an idea of who you are. And I made a commitment to myself a long time ago. I'm not going to negotiate with myself in terms of who I am with other people. I am who I am. You're going to get what you get. You know, I'm not out there like attacking people. That's not who I am, but I'm very aggressively myself, you know, like I just put it out there. I'm not perfect. Nobody is, but One way to really check your brand, and I asked you this, Vic, when we first got on this call last week, ask people what your brand is. Like, hey, when you think of me, what do you know, this may be for someone who's a little more established, but it doesn't matter. Even as a new agent, you can say, what do you think of when you think like of me? You know, what
are the three keywords when I bring to mind?
Exactly. And people will tell me, and I get it over and over again. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that's my brand. They're like, you're just yourself, you know? So I'm like, I didn't set out to do that, but my brand kind of just presented itself. So I challenge people to just ask people, you know, it's kind of scary. You don't know what they're going to say, but it kind of helps you understand what you're putting out. You may think you're putting something out and someone's seeing you in a totally different light. And you're like, I'm smart. Oh, okay. I'm going to continue educating people, you know, or, oh, you think I'm funny? Like, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah, I get that.
I think
What
a
else I
key
ask? Oh, go ahead, Max.
Sorry, I think a key thing that Bridget like glanced over that would help a lot of people is batching. Like batching it all, like doing one long shoot and then you have a big long, like you have 10 videos that you can kind of distribute through your social platforms. That made it a ton easier for me instead of doing like one at a time, because like Bridget said, we need to be realtors too. We need to do our job.
Totally. And do not cancel your batching sessions. You're going to
No.
want to. The day before, you're going to be like, I don't feel good. I don't want to be, I'm tired. I don't want to do it. I don't like my outfit. I don't care. You just show up. One day I showed up at my batching and I was downtown. I hated my makeup. I hated my outfit. It was hot. I didn't like the background. The lighting was awful. And I just said to my videographer, can we just go out on the street and like ask people questions like Jay Leno or whatever the Tonight Shows, like they go out and they talk to people. And that ended up being one of my best performing videos. I just went around and asked people what they thought the average sales price was of a house in Tucson. And it was surprising. It was like market research and entertainment.
Great idea.
Show up. It may be the worst and you may never post those videos, but you can't cancel on yourself. Like you just got to do it.
Yeah. Bridget, one thing you mentioned, and I know some of our other Rethink Council members here might want to chime in. Are you guys utilizing these videos for not just social media, but for YouTube? So you're searchable. Who else is doing YouTube right now? Just Bridget? Sana?
Amber, Maxwell.
Amber and Maxwell.
How are you guys utilizing that, Amber? I want to know, what are you doing for YouTube? And what are you putting out there? Is it any different than what you're putting on social media?
No, I actually when I started YouTube, I was doing much more long form and I switched to short form. So now I'm just taking those short form videos and pulling them over as shorts in YouTube. I might start getting back into the long form for YouTube too, though. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's helpful.
Yeah, and what are you bringing to your YouTube shorts and social, Amber? By the way, everybody say hello to Amber Carlton. Amber, tell them who you are, where you're from.
Hi, Amber Carlton. I'm from Fargo, North Dakota. It is probably cooler here than the majority of places that you all are, but it's still just shy of 90 degrees today. And yes, I service Fargo, Moorhead area, Lakes area in Minnesota, and I'm so thrilled to be here. For YouTube specifically and for social specifically, I have two non-negotiables every month that I do, even when I am like I am right now, and I'm going to be doing July's and August, whatever, do it. Late's better than never. I always do a real estate basics, which is kind of similar to what Asia was talking about her fun real estate fact Friday. And I always do a market update once a month. They're consistent. It's every single month. They are more of the talking head videos. But I always pull those over to YouTube as well. And then I have property tours where I hire a professional videographer. I will say hiring a pro is a game changer. So start if you're doing nothing, just start. Do stories like Bridget said, do anything to get started. But once you've been doing it for a while, hire a pro. We all benefit by hiring a pro. They take time off of our plate. None of us have enough hours in a day, right? So pay somebody to do it for you. It's going to look better and it's going to free up some of your time. But yeah, I kind of do the same stuff on all of the platforms. Once I've got it created, I put it out everywhere. One other quick tip for that: when you create some of that consistent content that you're going to be doing every single month, make sure to then share it to your story So you can highlight it for Instagram. Anybody who's using Instagram, make sure that you're using those highlights, and that's how you go about getting that there.
So let me ask you this. What do you think our audience should be really focused on? How do you select your social media videos that go into your highlights? Because as Bridget mentioned, stories go away in 24 hours, but highlights stay there forever. How do you select which content to save as a highlight?
Yes. So I have one set of highlights just for real estate basics. I have one set of highlights just for market updates. So those will always go there. And then I have more personal things too, because people want to know who you are and they want real. I think everyone is sick of this picture perfect cookie cutter. You open social and you see this beautiful, happy family, although actually they're getting divorced in a week. Like, come on, people, let's just be who we really are. So, like, I have one for travel. I have one for making fun of the accent in Minnesota, Hot Dish Moms series. Like, just have some fun.
Wait, the what? The what?
The hat dish.
Oh,
yeah.
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 The Hot Dish Moms series. Like, yeah, sure, you betcha, roundabout in a boat, or or yeah, any of the silly things that we say here that maybe other parts of the country don't say. But it's funny and it's engaging, and we all make fun of it. We don't usually talk like that, but sometimes it comes out and it's hilarious. So yeah, being you, even like one of the posts that got the most traction this year was me visiting my mother's gravesite. Like, that's hard, that's heavy, but it's real. And people want to know who you really are. They already like you, they're following you, they're working with you, they're your friends. They want to actually see what's going on in your life and not just see this like polished little trophy of a person. That's not real.
Mm-hmm. Keep it real, authentic, right? And that's kind of the theme from what all of us are talking about today, being yourself, because your audience is going to gravitate towards you for you. And can't be fake. I love that you said that, Amber. I love that. I'm going to check that out on your social, the Hot Dish Moms. I'm going to check that out. That sounds pretty funny to me. You got us laughing right away. I want to jump over and see what our friend in Indiana has to say about building a brand that breaks through. Sina, hi there. Hello, Sina. Tell us who you are, where you're from.
Hi, everybody. I'm from Indianapolis area, so Indiana Realty. So I serve all of Indy Metro. If you have anybody moving there, I'd be happy to help. And yeah, when Amber was talking about her highlights with that hot dish or whatever it is, Mom, I'm like, everybody is now going to her Instagram afterwards to check that out. So I can't wait for this call to be off. Yeah, so I agree. You have to be yourself. And I told the Rethink, last week when we were doing our prep call, out of everybody, I probably don't do as many videos, but it is my goal to do that. And my teammates and we are going to start doing more video. That's a goal that we've talked about. And last week after the call, I told people that I want to batch as well. And I always like to share. So I'm a team leader. There's 7 of us total. And I always tell people ideas too, if you're an individual agent, because I feel sometimes people think that if they're an individual agent, they can't do things like client appreciation events and stuff like that. So if you're an individual agent and you don't think that you're going to make these videos, or maybe you don't have enough money to pay for it, maybe share the cost with somebody else, and maybe you can get a reduced price or the rate, and then you batch together. So maybe I go and then Chelsea goes and then Leslie goes, and we just share the cost of it. So that's one thing that some of my teammates and I are planning on doing this fall, is just batching and making those videos to start getting them out there. Now, since I said I don't do all of the videos like Bridget and Asia and Olivia and Maxwell and people, one thing I want to tell people is focus on the basics. So pick your logo, because as as Vic said, there's branding and there's marketing, and you need your brand to be recognized. We are a part of the greatest brokerage and brand, Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, that there is in the country. Now you also need your personal logo and your personal brand. So everybody knows when they see the golden arches, what that means. Even my 3.5-year-old, he says, "Mommy, there's Mickey Donald's." Okay. So get your logo from the Mickey Donald's. So we're a big Mickey fan, and that's Mickey Donald's, not McDonald's. But he knows what it is, his burger and fries. So grab your brand. So start off figure out what you want to represent. When I created my brand, the Sina Taylor Real Estate logo, I searched the internet for hours, just simply scoured images, and I found different brand ideas from all across the country. And then I put something together. I contacted somebody on Etsy, a graphic designer. I said, hey, can you make this brand for me? She gave me a couple different options, and I chose the one that was for me. I told her the colors that I wanted, and I picked a color scheme that went with Berkshire Hathaway. So Cabernet, navy blue, and gold. And then those are the colors that I use for my marketing purposes and my brand. And hopefully when people start to see that logo, or even if they just see a little piece of it, they think that's Sina Taylor Real Estate. So I put that on everything. I have it on my marketing pieces. I have clothing apparel with it. I have it on listing appointments and my buyer consultation packets and all of that. So start with the basics, the brand, the logo, the colors, and keep it consistent. As a couple of people have said, you have to be consistent with who you are, your voice, and then of course, what I'm talking about, your logo, and have it on all of your websites and all of your marketing and everything. One program that I used to help with consistency was RealGrader, and I know Maxwell Stevens has used this too. I paid for RealGrader to go in, and they did a social media or an internet grading of my name and my logo and everything, and they gave me a grade. And then we went in and revised everything so it has the same voice and the same tone and the same color schemes and logo and who I am. So if somebody goes to LinkedIn, they're going to see something similar on Facebook and Instagram and so forth. So I did that. You don't have to pay. You can take the time to do it, or find a high schooler or a college student that wants some extra money and do that. But once again, cohesiveness there. And like I said, just be consistent and have that tagline as well. I created a new tagline last week. So my logo is the state of Indiana and its keys. So bringing the keys to Indiana. So like Maxwell said, your tagline might change. You know, he's call as a client, close as a friend. Before I was tailor-made real estate, or real estate tailored for you. And then I grabbed 6 ladies and we joined a team. And so I just needed a new tagline, and I liked what I came up with last week. And that's everything for the basics. And then one last thing, telling who I am is the buyer value, or the values for my buyer packets and my listing packets. So I have my logos and my colors on there, and just the mission statement. So have a vision statement or a mission statement, and make sure your clients know who that is. Or what that is. And I have that on there. So I have the same agent values that I give to my buyers in their consultation packets and then in my listing packets, because it's not going to change regardless of how I help those people. It's going to be the same thing. And then the other thing that I wanted to chime into is your brand and who you are should be recognized by your clients, your friends, and your family, but also other realtors. So there's a couple realtors in our area who I just love and I admire them so much. And I was talking to one of them and I said, I hope one day that somebody can say Sina Taylor is like this as a realtor. And he's been in the business for 27 years. And he said, Sina, we already think that about you. You know, so you want your voice and your brand to be known to the other realtors too. So not just my logo, but who I am and what I represent. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share today about it. And be you, authentic and consistent.
You come from a a little bit different perspective from most of the people on this call center, because you're a team lead, right? So are you branding your team in a similar fashion with the the color scheme, the logo, the sayings as a whole, and then letting your individual teammates do their own thing, or is it kind of consistent across the board for all 7 of your team members?
Yeah, so I think I have a little bit unique perspective as a team leader, because I do view my 6 ladies that work with me, I view them as their individual businesses as well. So we have the Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices logo. Then we have the Sina Taylor Real Estate logo. I asked them to put that on items too. And then I allow them to have their own brand logo as well. So Brittany Correll Real Estate or Jen Dunham Homes, and they all have their own logos. And that's what I tell them. This is who you are, and this should be your forever business too. Let's say for some reason, which I hope it never happens, that they choose to go elsewhere, then they have that business built and that brand that can follow them. So I do allow them. Now in our marketing pieces, I try to do the Sina Taylor Real Estate, and then I do the Berkshire Hathaway. So for example, we just gave out some monogrammed like personal bags to our favorite women in our sphere. And I made boxes that were really nice boxes. And I had the Berkshire Hathaway logo and my team logo since it was from the team. And then I had the box creator to put everybody's name on that box. So when it ended up at Leslie's client's doorstep, they could see that her name was on there and it wasn't just Estina Taylor Real Estate. So I try to break it down like that. So if you see my social media posts, the ones that are more static, you will see that I always add everybody's names to those if it's something that is Berkshire Hathaway branded.
It's a customized token gift that probably makes your clients feel really special because it has their name on it, right? Not just your team's name. So you know it's meant for them.
Right. Exactly. And that's one thing I wanted to say too, the vision and the story. So Asia was talking how she was a realtor, or I'm sorry, she was a teacher before this. So there's 7 of us, as I mentioned. 6 of us were former professionals and we're 6 women. So we really like to promote the story of who we are. We're moms, whether it's to children or fur babies. And like I said, 6 of us were former teachers. And so we really promote that to people. And we love to share with our women and who they are and what they're going through. So this year, one of our marketing plans has been to focus on those ladies. We've been sending out mailers to all of the women in our sphere, but we've picked, 12 women in our sphere that we really want to love on, and we're giving them items. So we gave the monogrammed bags, and then in the fall, we're doing mums to those people, and then we're going to have an event. The event will be for everybody, but we sent out a card that, said who we are, a little blurb about each person, about our businesses, and then a second card that shared other women-owned businesses all around the Indy metro area. And we got really good feedback on that. Some people that I don't usually hear from with just a mailer, they contacted and said, I really like how you're promoting other women businesses here. And just trying to, once again, show who we are, the authenticity, and keeping it consistent about 7 women that are moms and working women.
I love that thing. That's a great plan of action, and I'm proud that you're taking this and running with it. Speaking of doing things for women groups, I want to jump down to Louisiana. Our friend Natalie Sanchez. Hello, Natalie. How are you?
You're muted.
Uh-oh. Hit that little mute button, my friend.
So,
Let's hear you.
hello again. Let's do it again. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Natalie. Tell them
It's
who you
hot in
are, where
here,
you're
and I had
from.
to step. Yeah, absolutely. I had to step out of the house because yeah, I know I'm doing an agent. I just finished doing an agent open house, and it was kind of loud inside, so I came outside to do this. I'm very excited to be here. It's always an honor, and I'm Mexican, as you will see, I guess, but I'm in Louisiana, Bossier City, and Shreveport. Most people know Shreveport because of the casinos. We have like 6 casinos over here, and it's very well known because of that. But I'm excited to be here and share with y'all, especially those who are kind of hesitating on getting on camera, getting on a video, because I was the same way, this very same way. But how I started real estate, before I took my test and while I was doing my classes, I was offered a position to do a podcast where I was highlighting certain businesses, small businesses in the area, and I don't know why I said yes, because I was so afraid to be in front of a camera. The only good thing that they told me was like it's gonna be pre-record and then we're gonna edit it and then it's gonna look great. I think it does look great now, looking back, but I was very afraid. But I knew that this was gonna be a platform for me to jump to my next level. I wanted people to get to know me. I wanted people to knew who I was. And I remember being asked that same question. What do you think people see when they see you? And I didn't know. So I start asking like my family, of course, friends, colleagues, even my brokers. I said, what do you see when you see Natalie? What do you hear when you hear Natalie? And one of the words that a lot of people uh, agree on, it was caring. And I think I am very caring. I do care for others. I do want to see people succeed. Uh, and I think that's what's bringing the success to me too. I feel like when you do for others what you want done into you, that would sooner or later hit it back. And I am experiencing that. One of the things that I did, of course, was that podcast where I would bring small restaurants that were having, it were kind of slow moments, and then just talk about how they started, what they did. And I remember once I started real estate, people will, call me and be like, "Are you the lady on the TV?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not on TV. I'm on, on the phones or tablets." But it was a show that was through internet. It was a podcast, internet kind of source. But people would say that, and I just love that they recognize where I came from. One of the
So
things that I
Natalie,
always promise, yes,
you started with podcast and you started doing Facebook Lives, right? How did you
that
jump
is correct.
into building your personal brand once you got into real estate?
That is correct. So since a lot of people already knew me because they saw me on all these podcast videos that I did probably about 40 to 50 videos before I started
Wow.
real estate, like interviewing other people. And it was easier because I had to make all the questions like you're doing it for us, So I didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
say much. But then I started real estate. A year later, I was invited to become part of the Rethink, and Rethink has definitely changed my world, has changed my life in every sense. And if you are watching this and this is your first Rethink Mastermind video that you're watching, please, you need to go back to all the other ones that my colleagues and previous members have done. It's been amazing. I learned from them. I remember being part with another agent last year, and she said something that everybody's kind of saying, make sure you keep your story, your circle open at all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
even if it's something minor that you may think is something minor, even if it's not real estate, just make sure people are constantly seeing something from you. And I started doing that, and I think it's working for me. Now, I also heard from Rethink previous members. One of them said, make sure you don't post about real estate all the time. People want to know about you, and I think we're discussing this today. People want to know who the real Natalie is. Who am I going to work with? Why should I choose Natalie to work with? And I feel when you find out who you are, which I just said that I think I'm very caring and I do care for others and their success and their meeting their goals, whether it's real estate or something else. There are people that I cannot help. They come to me and they're like, I'm trying to buy a house. They're not ready, but I'll make sure I find them a good rental property, and sometimes that's what we have to do. They'll come back sooner or later. There are agents that are looking at you, looking at what you're doing. And I've seen some other agents in my area posting similarities, like similar videos to what I'm doing. And I feel like, okay, I'm doing something that somebody else is looking at. And those agents will sooner or later refer me also clients. So they see that it's not about just selling or just meeting people and doing a transaction and goodbye. It's more about I care for them. What else can I do? We close a deal, just like Maxwell said, we end up as friends, but what else can I do? One
So
of the
Natalie,
events
you
that really
mentioned
fill my heart
Nat.
as
Oh, I'm sorry, Natalie. I was going to say that, to your point, you said that there's a lot of competition in your marketplace, but you like to post the most and outpost everybody, right? And you're speaking to your
yes.
niches here. What is your tagline? You have a great tagline. I want to make sure we get to that because I think it's fantastic. What's your tagline with your posts?
Okay, I have to post at least 3 videos a week. And it can
Okay.
be about real estate, or it can be about my personal life. It can be about my kids playing soccer. It has to be something that says what I'm doing during the week. Like I want people to know, oh, she's working as a real estate because she closed the deal, but she's also being a mom, and she's also being a wife, and she's also being everything else that I do. So
Yeah,
I
that's
do
keeping
at
it
least,
real.
yes, three, and then I got this habit of posting on my stories like a daily phrase, like a daily quote, and I get so many views. It's incredible, like 1,000 views on today's date quote of the day. Be great, or let's let's get a better day by acting up, or just anything. And it's amazing. I love those too. I try to post them at least every day.
I love that. I love that, Natalie. Thank you for sharing.
Natalie, there's
Every
somebody in the chat that's born and raised, it looks like in Shreveport. Tristan Marino. Is that right? Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
I saw that pop up. Yeah. Small
Well,
world
welcome.
down there.
Yeah.
I want to, we're talking about building a brand that breaks through. Olivia, with your background as a New York City marketing professional, you talked about, building a brand, but asking your client 3 questions. What are those 3 questions that our audience members would want to ask themselves to help them, shape their brand?
I think that the three most important questions for you to ask, is who, what am I trying to bring to the table here? What am I trying to do? Two, who am I going to serve? And then three, how am I going to do that? Those are the questions I ask myself before every single appointment with a buyer or a seller. This is what I do every quarter when I look at my brand. Am I serving these three areas? Am I able to change my brand a little bit to do better with that? And you want to keep it short and sweet. What you represent. I know Maxwell with his three C's, what you're trying to do, you've got to keep it condensed, because if you go too big, then you lose sight of the vision of what you're trying to do with your brand. So if you don't keep it, tight, then it's easy to get away from it and what you're actually trying to do. So I recommend doing like a brand audit every quarter, or maybe it's more realistic every year. As you're gearing up for the new year, do a brand audit. Did you do a good job last year keeping things consistent, or did you shift your view, or did you shift your messaging? And then just reflect on that. Again, I'm a huge proponent of AI. You can even have AI do that for you. And, in the building of my brand, I've used AI significantly to do comparable analysis and competitive analysis with other agents in my market and see what they're doing with their brands, and how does my brand compare to theirs. And then when you've got AI trained, you can ask it, what am I missing? What am I missing from the brand? Does this reach the three standards that I'm trying to uphold? Am I showing people that I'm a trustworthy, ethical, great negotiator? Or whatever it is that you want to do. Everybody here does real estate in such a different way. You can still be authentic, but bring everything to the table that your clients want to see in their perfect real estate agent. We all, I think, represent the amazing features of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, but we do it in such a different way because we are authentic to ourselves. And so, please do, copy, take whatever, like, it's out there. I will never be mad. That's the highest form of flattery. The main thing is do it in the way that's authentic to you, because then you're going to actually do it. A lot of times it's hard enough just to do the work. You want to keep that going by being authentic to yourself, but keep it condensed. That's how you keep a brand going.
Olivia, I love that you said that. Asia, Maxwell, and Amber, and Bridget, and everybody else here talked about speaking to your audience. I know, Asia, you have your audience. Most of your clients, they're millennials, right? So, what is your guys' thought process? This is open for everybody. What's your thought process about building your brand and then making sure your audience, your clientele, receives that well, and you can build off those relationships? How do you guys go about that?
I can chime in there. One piece of advice I have is to know your audience and know their pain points really well. So I think storytelling is a wonderful way to convert on social media. For example, my audience, a lot of millennials in the Bay Area, affordability is a pain point for first-time home buyers. So when you're going to share a story about a successful transaction, keep those pain points in mind. You can tell a story about a buyer who didn't think home ownership was in reach, thought it was unattainable due to affordability, and then how you were able to find a solution, whether it's connecting a veteran with a VA loan program at 0% down, negotiating closing costs. A story like that speaks to the barriers that may be keeping others from reaching out to you, and positions you as somebody who understands where they're coming from, and I think is motivating for converting those would-be clients into reaching out.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
great.
Yeah, I love that. I think, keeping it the authentic, but like going to the attraction rather than promotion, like not promoting yourself, just being yourself, and then attracting the people, your people. That's really important. Keeping it extremely relatable. Like, people want to be relatable. Everybody's scared, everybody's happy, everybody's been through things, everybody's gone through, just keeping it relatable to me is how I would do that and attract my people.
Mhm. It's a different way to market to people buying in the Poconos than it is to somebody buying in the Minnesota area where Amber's at, or Indiana where you're at, Tim. So tell me, how do you guys go about finding the right message for your audience in your region? What are you guys looking at? What tips could you give our audience on doing the same thing? And this is open for anybody to chime in.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I would
chime in
like,
really quick. Oh,
okay.
sorry. You go quick.
Okay, yeah, I'll go quick. I was just gonna say, find your niche. I heard a long time ago, the riches are in the niches, and that's what I definitely did at the beginning of my career. I think I shared this with you before. I wanted to post everything in English. I wanted to, just my videos do them in English, and that's why I had a hard time trying to get out there because English is not my first language, as can see. So what I did is like I started posting in Spanish, and it's just my business went boom because a lot of people that speak Spanish, even though if they speak English, they feel comfortable working with that. I needed to be working on that. And I started creating videos. And one of the things that I wanted to say to everyone, uh, not everything fits to everyone. Like I remember at the beginning of the video thing, a lot of people will say, well, don't start your videos with your name, don't start your videos. But it makes it so much easier for me to start my video saying, hey, your friend and real estate agent, Natalie Sanchez here. And then I can say whatever I want after that. But if I want to try to start somewhere else, I don't know why I get nervous. But if I use that phrase, and now people know me, yeah, you're my friend and real estate agent. And I want to make them feel like I am the real friend. Another thing that I want to end my this right now, it's my phrase, my tagline. It's my name is Natalie Sanchez, and I speak three languages: English and Spanish and real estate. I created that at the beginning of the career with a friend, and I just love it. And I still, like I said, I encounter people that tell me that, yeah, and we know you speak three languages, English and Spanish and real estate. Some people find it funny, some other people find it interesting, but it's just not everything is for everybody. So just find what fits you and what's your niche and develop it.
Well, that's speaking to your audience, Natalie, English, Spanish, and real estate, because you use a lot of Spanish with your clients. Cindy, you were going to add something. Amber, Bridget, you guys were going to add something as well?
Amber, go for it.
Okay. This actually is perfect right after that, Natalie. Because I was gonna say not everyone is for everyone. Like mental hygiene, being
Don't be
consistent
afraid to
as a
say no.
human. Yes, firing clients can be the best thing that ever happened to you. Like 10x. Not everyone is for everyone. Do the mental hygiene, do the self work so you know you, so you are attracting the right people. You're not going to attract the right people if you don't know who you are. Like we've got to start internally, do that, you'll 10x, and then just always provide value, which everyone's already been saying.
I fired a
Bridget, did you
client.
want to add to it?
It's fine. You will find your clients. You can say no.
And there's plenty to go around, community over competition too. And if you have that mindset of this is who I am and these are the type of people that I want to work with, you're going to attract them. And I think all of us in this business, we are salespeople. I don't want to act like a salesperson. I'm going to be my authentic, true, caring self, like Natalie said. If somebody asked me what Natalie Sanchez is like, I would say caring and, the biggest heart of the world. And that's who you want, you're going to attract the people that you want to work with. I was talking with an agent a couple of weeks ago and she was telling me about her clients. And I said, I think you might need to fire them, just attract it. And like I said, we're all salespeople and we can tell when somebody's not being authentic to us. And our clients will know if we're not authentic to them. And so just once again, be your authentic self, whether it's from the start with your brand, the little building block, all the way down to all of your videos. And I have the same introduction with the videos that I do. Natalie, I always say, hey, everybody. And I do a little wave. It's just cheesy, but that's how I have to start my videos. So I agree.
I would say too, it's okay to evolve. Like it's okay to change. It's okay to start out as a certain way and show up in a certain way. And as you build your brand and grow as a person, we're constantly growing if you're committed to it. Don't be afraid to, start somewhere and just let it build and you'll slow, big ships take tiny turns to make a move, right? So it's just over time, you'll evolve. Don't be afraid of that. If you kind of wake up one day, like I did, if you look at my first videos, like, I don't even know who that girl is, love her, but like, okay.
I never go back to my old videos. Just don't do that.
I mean, if you go look at it, you'll see it's just completely
yeah.
changed.
Well, how
And
much you've grown. I've seen yours, over the last couple of years, Bridget.
yeah,
I mean, amazing.
it's different. So, I would say just stay flexible, stay coachable, stay evolving. Sometimes it's scary to jump in and be like, okay, I need to pick my brand right now. Can't delineate from it, cannot change. And that's daunting. That's what made me not do video. Cause I'm like, I don't know who I am, like, so do we ever really know who we are? Like truly, let's get deep right now.
Well,
I'm
that's
having
why it's good to do the
existential
audit.
crisis.
Like don't go super far back 5 years ago, go last year, see how you've grown, see what you like. And yeah, Amber, you just put done is better than perfect. 100% agree.
Put it out there. Like I put in one of my videos, I was talking and I was like, all right, I'm going to get on some real estate dork behavior right now and talk about appraisals. It's okay to put it out there. You don't have to be excited about appraisals. You don't have to be like, guess what, guys, when there's a short appraisal, you can be like, okay, this is going to be boring. Are you ready? All right, let's do this, or if you have a blooper and you're like frozen in time for 2 seconds, just leave it in there. I mean, that kind of stuff takes a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah, I think too, like, don't put so much, this is like a lot to take in, this whole Rethink Live, but like, don't put so much pressure on yourself either, right? Like, let it unfold, more will be revealed. Take the pressure off yourself, focus on yourself more than you do on your business. And, everything will be okay and it'll all work out. And just like, trust the process.
Maxwell, I love that. Two quick things. One is if you want to watch this again, because it's going to evolve over time, you'll be able to do that on Learn Center. But the other thing is a great question in the chat, which is, do you ever change or delete any of your posted content?
Yes.
Yep.
All time. Curated. It's curated, not.
Yes. I've archived.
Bespoke.
But
I
instead
haven't
of
changed
deleting, just
anything.
bury it. Just bury it with new content. If you don't like it, just post more and be motivated by getting it down in the feed, because more is always better. If you have more of an online presence, it's always better. So don't delete everything. You're not going to like anything, but yeah, I have deleted for sure.
Well, I think we're at a
great conversation, right, Sandy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
What I took away from this is, if you're scared to get started in video and building your brand, do it anyways. Do it scared.
Do it.
Just do it scared. And then you got to be consistent with it, because you get better over time. Your brand is going to evolve over time, because you're human and you're going to evolve over time. So I want to thank all of our Rethink Council members who contributed to this Rethink Live event today. Sandy, tell them where they can find this video once it's uploaded.
It'll be located in Resource Center in the Learn Center category. I also want to encourage you to join us for our next Rethink Live, October 9th at 11 a.m. Pacific. Watch for details as that comes together. And be sure to sign up or talk to your office managers about seeing us all together in Nashville. We'll have some great Rethink events at the Sales Convention in Nashville next March. So without further ado, I think it's time for this to be a wrap today. And we look forward to seeing you all on live in just a few more weeks.
Thanks so much, everybody.